The Ten Commandments are about relationships. We may think that they're about rules and regulations and how the universe has a law written into its fabric, but they're really about relationships. When Moses gave them to the Israelites, it was to explain to them the relationship to God and to neighbor. The first few commandments explain our relationship with God, that we must love Him and love Him alone and serve no other gods, and that He merits our worship and He deserves our praise, and that we need to set aside time for Him. And the other commandments help us understand our relationship with one another, how we're to treat our parents, how we're to treat our spouses, how we're to treat one another's property, and how we're to treat our hearts. Because the commandment to not covet deals with our hearts. It helps us understand that we're supposed to have our hearts right before God and not want the things that don't belong to us and thus steal, and not want the persons that don't belong to us and thus commit adultery. Because when we break the commandments, we harm our relationship with God and we harm our neighbor. And so when Jesus taught us to love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves, He was reaffirming the Ten Commandments. And Paul reaffirmed them. The Apostle John reaffirmed them. The whole Scriptures teach these Ten Commandments in one way or the other. And so these commandments help us today. They are binding on us today, but they're binding because God loves us, so that we might have a right relationship with Him, we might have a right relationship with one another, and thus enjoy God's best for us.